Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how Kinvey has greatly expanded our out-of-the-box data integrations through our new rapid connector to Progress DataDirect. So with no code, you can integrate into a vast portfolio of enterprise systems of record through our proven rapid interface. Before we get started, I just want to point out that our Dev Center has been upgraded with a tutorial on getting started with DataDirect. Now let's mobilize some data. We'll first start off in DataDirect. We'll create a new DataDirect connector to a Postgres database. But first, just take a look at how much we've expanded our data mobilization capabilities. I'm going to choose the Postgres SQL connector, and I'll say that this is a cloud instance. I'll give it a few parameters. And I can test the connection immediately, and assuming that the connection is good, which it is, I can save it. Once I do that, I can go in and auto-discover and map fields. So I'll go to the OData tab, I'll say Configure Schema, and it will go out to the database and query which schemas are available. I'll choose the public schema, and once I do that, it will go out and query all of the columns associated with it, and it'll recognize any primary keys. So if we look at the table, we have three columns: account name, account company, and ID, which is a primary key. And DataDirect has auto-discovered those for me and even identified the ID as a primary key. So we can save that. And we'll update that to save the schema mapping. And once the DataDirect configuration is in place, it's really a simple matter to just use the new DataDirect Rapid connector to map this data into our Kinvey instance. So I'll say add a service on the Kinvey console in the service catalog. And you'll see we have the new DataDirect Rapid connector. I'll choose that. I'll give it a name. And I can either choose to make it app level scope or organization level scope. If I choose app level scope, only this one app backend will have access to it. If I choose organization scope, I can share this in my service catalog across any of the apps in the organization. And I will put in the user ID and password that I use to log into the DataDirect console. Once I save that, I can add a service object. In this case, we want to map doctors. And the endpoint we actually get from DataDirect. So if I go back to the configuration of this and I look at the schema, if I just grab the last portion of the schema, it's going to be the schema name with the table name appended. And the primary key was ID, which was an integer in this case. And then as the backend engineer, I can really decide which operations are supported. It may very well be that I want to let users fetch data, but I don't want them to alter any data, such as doing inserts, updates, and deletes. I'll save that. And once I save it, I can go back into the configuration and let the Rapid DataDirect connector auto-discover the fields. Once I've auto-discovered the fields, I can filter out any fields that I don't need to reduce the size of the payload and thus performance. And then I can alter any of the fields to meet the demands of whatever is on the mobile front end. Once I save that, I can easily go back into my configuration. You can see right now this list of doctors on the physical device is pulling from this collection. But I can go to the settings, and now instead of using the Kinvey data store, I can point this to my newly created connector. And now when I refresh on the client, we'll see a completely different set of data that's coming from our Postgres database. So in this way, we really are supporting a two-speed IT process or agile development. The front-end engineer can be completely independent of the back-end engineer. He or she can begin development of their UI and their UX immediately without waiting on the back-end. And when it comes time to marry the front end with the back end, the actual enterprise system of record, Kinvey can flip the switch on the back end. This is why our founder, Shravish, always says, build as if you have no legacy IT. So I hope in this video it's given you greater insight into how our customers now have a much richer portfolio of out-of-the-box data integrations through Kinvey's integration with Progress DataDirect. You can now use this capability in all your projects to accelerate time to market and reduce the overall cost of app production.